Hello and welcome to Just One More Watch. Welcome today to my first encounter with the brand Squale. Now I am well aware that Squale features fairly regularly elsewhere on YouTube, but this is my first crack at one of their watches, so I'm excited to see what all the hype is about. Big thank you today to friend and subscriber Ashley over in Melbourne for sending me this one in for review. This is his watch, it isn't mine. Now Ashley is arguably this channel's biggest supporter. He's been here from the beginning and we've been in constant communication for the last couple of years. He's doing it tough at the moment. His mother passed away a couple of weeks ago, so perhaps we could give Ashley a little bit of love in the comments section, help him through what is undoubtedly a difficult time in his life. So what's in the box today then? Well, this is a Squale 50 Atmos limited edition Onda Uva. Now they only made 80 of these and they've all sold out through Nomon Watches in the USA. Let's flip the camera and find out exactly what Ashley got for his $898 US. So the legendary Squale then. I'm almost disappointed that I can't use an Opinel to peel off some cardboard here, but never mind. So while I unpackage this one, a brief, very brief potted history of Squale. The company began in the 1940s, the brand name appeared in the 1950s. At that time they were a supplier making cases for other members of the Swiss watch industry, as was the way and as still is the way. What do we got here? We've got a kind of Nomon Watches, certainly squished thank you card there. They began to make their own pieces in the 60s and the 70s, but they were pretty much killed off by the quartz crisis. Resurrected in about 2010. Ooh, what is this? Polishing cloth and a nice little NATO strap. I'll have a poke at that later on. Resurrected in 2010. Really, it was the 1545, their Submariner homage, that was used to kind of bankroll them, and since then they have been releasing some of their kind of older case designs, including this one, the kind of classic 1521. Alright, a little bit more packaging. Let's peel this off. Nice little Squale branded watch roll here. Now, a lovely case design, this one. 42mm in diameter, I believe, but should conform to the wrist nicely. They do it in various colours, this 50 Atmos. Nomon, who are, I believe, are the distributors in the USA, have had license to do a number of special editions, or license to sell, rather, I should say, a number of special editions. And this one, the Onda Uva, literally meaning grape wave, is a wave dial in grape colour. Let's peel off that packaging. And some sensible advice in the box from Nomon. Number one, when your watch is stopped, wind it before wearing. Number two, do not adjust the day-date function between 8 PM and 3 AM because it cocks up the movement. And if your watch has a screw-down crown, screw it down before getting wet. Some of those points more obvious than others. 2-year warranty card, denoting that this one is a 50 Atmos limited edition from Nomon. Comprehensive multi-language instruction manual, which shall go in a drawer never to be read again. And a nice little hang tag with the Sharky on there as well. Always nice when a company goes that little bit extra, but at $898 they should do. The little airline style pouchy from Nomon contained a branded polishing cloth and a $2 NATO that I probably wouldn't put on a Chinese special, but hey, you can't really complain about something for nothing. So overall, a reasonable if slightly unspectacular packaging arrangement for a watch that cost $900 US. But never mind that bloody packaging, Jody shows the watch, and there it is, glistening under my studio lights, that wave dial. Brightly polished indices, stainless steel bezel, high polished case. Quite an effect. Very, very interesting looking little watch, this one. So 41.5, not quite 42mm across the bezel. It's actually a little bit thinner. The bezel sits proud of the case. It's about 40.5, just under 41 if you're just looking at the case itself. 48.5 lug tip to lug tip, but look at that curve. Really, that's what you're buying. You're buying this kind of classic case. Beautiful, beautiful curvature to that. So 48.5 lug tip to lug tip, just under 13mm thick, 20mm lug width, and weighed in on the supplied leather strap. I believe the 50 Atmos is only available in either a rubber or a leather. You can't buy these ones on bracelets, coming in at just over 100 grams. So a little bit smaller than the 42mm initial diameter dimension suggests. As you can see there, the bezel does sit a little bit proud of the high polished case. Isn't it shiny? My nostrils are filled with the scent of Italian cow, but let me just salivate over this case a little more before moving on. A beautiful mixture of angles and curves. She seems perfectly proportioned and very nicely finished indeed. Gorgeous bowed effect overall. Nice curvature to those lugs, a little bit of a kind of beveled edge there. Very, very nice indeed. Certainly, if you're buying this one for this iconic case design, then you will not be disappointed. Recessed crown there at the 4 o'clock with the Von Buren family crown on it, another nod to Squale's history. Coin-edged bezel. Now I believe it is a 120 click unidirectional rotating dive time bezel, as you would hope for, and very nice action, no backplay there at all, very comfortable feeling. Interesting bezel there, so a stainless steel bezel, kind of matte finish and gloss indices, gloss Arabics around the outside, kind of like the Rolex Yachtmaster. Not an easy process to do apparently. Certainly an interesting alternative to an aluminium or a ceramic insert. Zoomed right in on the dial, minimal text, just the Squale name there under the 12 at a slight angle, 50 Atmos Onda, meaning wave as discussed, above the 6 and just Swiss made either side of the 6 o'clock index. Handset, little underwhelming, utterly flat, very plain indeed, but I guess the rest of the watch is a little bit blingy, so perhaps not a bad choice putting a fairly plain and basic handset. Look at that chapter ring! Super high polished all the way around the outside, and a lot of different facets, a lot of different texture to those indexes as well. Matching ones, the kind of stripy ones at the 12, the 6 and the 9, and a nicely beveled date frame with a little box around it at the 3 o'clock. Reassuring to note that the back of the watch is just as shiny as the front of the watch. High polished stainless steel, case back screw down, featuring sapphire crystal, Swiss made, 50 Atmos professional stainless steel, and a Squale shark again there. Very, very pretty. Simple but very pretty. And onto that Italian cow that I was smelling. Vera Pelle, made in Italy, 20 with a slight taper at the end. You already know where you stand on leather on a diver, but I think it certainly suits this one. And how many of these watches will be getting wet on a daily basis, or even a weekly or a monthly basis? Not too many. All brushed, interestingly. The only brush part on the watch is the buckle, again with a little Squale shark. No accuracy report today because I just took this one out of its box, as you saw, but a word on the movement. It is, of course, the venerable ETA 28242. Hacks hand winds, 25 joules, 38 hour power reserve, 8 ticks per second, 28,800 vibrations per hour, giving a lovely sweep of that second hand there. Should be accurate to within, say, plus or minus 10 to 15 seconds a day, which is perfectly decent given the price point of this piece. A good, solid choice and features in the majority of Squale's range. Now I'll pop up a Lume video. Glitzy and glamorous by day, perhaps not quite as pretty by night. Now it says Superluminova, I'm assuming it's C3, but it's not all that well applied. The Lume pip there at the 12 o'clock is certainly textured. Some of those stripes at the 12, the 3 and 9 could do with a couple more layers, I think, this one. Not so bad on the hands, but not the best Lume I've seen, if I'm being honest. Maybe this is a watch for day wear rather than night wear then. But never mind the Lume, look at that shiny, shiny thing on my 7-inch wrist. Wears very nicely indeed, thanks to those curved lugs. I don't want to do this one up too tight because these leather straps, you know, they look okay when they're out the box, but they pretty much instantly wear. I want to leave this one in good shape for Ashley. But a lot going on in the dial, super shiny chapter ring, you can't help but notice that lovely wave pattern, shiny lugs and so on. Certainly this one is sure to get Ashley noticed when he wears it out and about in Melbourne. And there we go, zoomed out for a bit more perspective. I normally say 42 is my max. I would have no problem wearing this one as a daily. I think it is a little bit narrower on the case, and that beautiful curvature to the case means it wears very, very sweetly on my 7-inch wrist. So much going on that dial, all the little textural elements of the indices, the stainless steel bezel, the high polished case, that beautiful wave dial really does look pretty spectacular. various different colours. It goes from kind of teal blue. I'm not seeing an awful lot of purple, I'm not seeing an awful lot of grape in there, but teal blue, turquoise, pale blue, even a little touch of yellow in there possibly under certain light conditions, but looks pretty spectacular if I'm being honest. Certainly looks very expensive. You know, not a shy on retiring one this, that's for sure, with all of those silver surfaces, little shiny edge to the bezel as well, but just gorgeous. Well, Ashley, you have bought something pretty spectacular here, haven't you? I don't mind admitting to a little bit of jealousy. The 1521, not really on my radar up until this point anyway. I almost bought a 1545 a couple of years ago, but bought the Juno Ocean Rover instead, and the rest is history. But I will certainly consider this one again in the future. Lume is disappointing. I would have expected more at that price point. You know, they could have done with a couple more layers. It was pretty inconsistent and not all that well done, but can't really fault the rest of the watch. And that case shape is just stunning. Looks very nicely done. Definitely one for the long, hot summer months there, especially on this vintage leather strap. Thanks again, Ash, and all the best with this one. So there you have it. Big thank you to Ashley once again for sending me in this Squale for review, allowing me to peel all the stickers off his brand new watch. It is always such a privilege. Now, given that there were only 80 of these made and they have all sold out, I don't think Ashley will have a problem flipping this one for a little bit of a profit, should he so choose in the weeks and months to come. But I suspect it's going to be a keeper. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.